Well, I've heard it said that there's two kinds of riders, either those that have been down and those that are going to go down. I don't believe that. I put over approximately 150,000 miles on these bikes in the last 7 or 8 years, and I have not been down. And the reason I'm putting this video together is to hopefully give a few tips to who's ever watching it, that you won't go down either. And if you're very careful out there, the way I am, you hopefully probably won't go down. And I hope you don't go down. And that's why I'm putting this video together on motorcycle safety. Different features about these bikes and how to ride them. Been wanting to do a motorcycle safety video for a long time. And so today is the day. I'm going to take this thing out on the street. This is a Goldwing. It weighs over 900 pounds. Do not ride on urban city streets if I can help it. I stay away from busy streets all I can. Now here's a two-way stop for them. I've got the right of way, but I stop anyway to make sure that I've seen people go blitzing through that intersection without even seeing the stop signs. And there are no fender benders on motorcycles. Never own a motorcycle unless it had ABS brakes. About 80 feet ahead of me to make sure there's no gravel, patches of gravel. Okay, these highway squares or rectangles, those things are very slippery, especially when they're wet. They're slippery. So you got to be careful on that. And stripes too are slippery when they're wet, or even when they're not wet, they're slippery. So you got to be careful. Don't put your foot down on them. And when you're turning and going around corners, be very careful and go slow and straight over them. All right. And look to make sure nobody's coming in this lane. And then this little stretch of roadway for a couple of miles, there's no intersections or vehicles on the left. What I like to do is get behind and off to the side from another vehicle. And I'm going to stay behind this truck here and let him go ahead of me and take out any cross traffic. Potentially, the way that I was taught in motorcycle safety classes, you approach a corner slowly, not too fast. And when you can see the end of the apex, I think it's called, then you begin to accelerate. Now, right here, it's kind of a big sweeping turn, but this one up ahead is the fun one, but I'm going to slow down for it. The reason I'm going to slow down is because I'm not a show-off. I'm not showing off here. I want to be safe about this. So I'm coming slow into this turn, and I'm making it around the turn. When I'm about half or three-quarters of the way around the turn, and I accelerate. And come up on the stop sign, slow her down to about 1 mile an hour, and then accelerate on. Coming up on a red light here. What I'm going to do is engine brake down. So I kind of want to be on the far right and then be ready to dive over that guardrail if I have to. All right, now I'm giving myself clearance. Keep an eye on the rearview mirror and nobody's coming behind me. Get ready to drop my bike and just run and jump over that guardrail there. Got to be careful of these white highway stripes and things that are right here. These ones. Got to go between those stripes and look to the right for vehicles coming at you. And going through this intersection, making sure that there's nobody coming either way. And then up the hill. Oops. Okay. This is the type of street that I do not want to ride a motorcycle on. This is a busy street. Well, obviously these are busy streets here, and I think really dangerous to ride a motorcycle on. I personally do not ride a motorcycle on these streets here. This is Look at this thing. There's just a lot of potential for injury here. So, you know, I've got, I can do a right turn, but looking at the size of this intersection, I'm sort of afraid of it even in my car. So I'm going to do a turn right now. Okay, this street is another busy street, and like I say, I never personally ride a motorcycle on this street, even though it's less than a mile from my house. I always go the other way, which is down onto the freeway. I feel way safer on the freeway than I feel on this street here. There's just every intersection, every driveway is a potential crash coming in. There's pedestrians that can step out in front of you like that one. There's another one right there that you can, so there's just so many potential accidents waiting to happen, so to speak. So this is just to show the type of street that I do not ride a motorcycle on. All right, I'm going to turn off right here right now. All right, see this street here. There's another one. There's a car sitting on its haunches waiting to jump out at you. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about the importance of lighting. See, I added extra lights down here. Those come off a semi truck and or a school bus. And the back end here, I've got lighting, extra big lighting there and lighting around there. The more lighted you are, the safer you are out here. Now this one has got, looking at the front end of this, there are 6 lights coming at you. And then you check around in the back, there's something on the side, there's some lighting here. And then this lighting here now. That's a pretty well lighted back end. This back end is lighted considerably more than the average car. And I hope they can see me. That's what I'm hoping. Another thing about motorcycle safety, what I like to do is I always wear a helmet and gloves and boots, over the ankle boots. I'm never without those. And also when I'm out on the road, I like to have an extra set of jumper cables and some gloves and some like hand tools in here and a little bit extra cash, some extra cash and some hand tools. And here's a siphon thing. If I run out of gas, you can siphon, get yourself a gallon of gas from somebody who's passing by. It won't work in cars, but it will work in other motorcycles or tractors and stuff like that. This motorcycle here has, I've got, pop the side here. This one here too, I've got extra, I got rain gloves, and here's rain boots, and here's a tool bag, and here's some cash in here. Here's a $50 bill. It's always good. It's always good to have cash. And then here's a rain jacket, and here's an extra pair of warm gloves back in there. See what's over on this side. Okay, here's a lock here for locking up the front wheel, and here's another one of those siphons there. So that's what I carry. But I mostly want to point out how nice it is to have extra lighting from the rear end coming, you know, from the rear end like that. So these are the kind of streets that it is safe, in my opinion, to ride at. Now there's a stop sign for the cross traffic, but I pretty much kind of slow down for it anyway. Even though I've got the right of way to plow through it at 30 miles an hour, I'll pretty much slow way down if not stop for it, because I've seen people cruise through that intersection. And now here's a stop sign for me, and I like to slow down to about 2 miles an hour and not actually stop. I believe it's safer for the biker to just not actually stop it completely, but just to slow it down. And another good thing I like to do is get it up to speed and then stop as fast as I can I'm going to do a stop right here, right now. Right there. See, that brought it down to near zero. From 25 or 30 miles an hour to zero in probably 30 or 40 feet. So it's good to practice that. It's good to practice quick stops. Not only on quiet side streets, but out on the highway too. Kind of hard to do it on a freeway, but if you're out in a rural area on a freeway, you're going 70 or 75 miles an hour, it's good to do a quick stop. Bring it down to near zero, from 75 down to near zero. If nobody's around you, there's nobody behind you for a mile or two. That's what I recommend. You want to know what your bike is capable of doing. This is the kind of road that I love to ride on. Twisties, slow and gentle. You can see the back end of this bike. It's pretty well lighted. And up ahead, I hear a dog. Well, thank goodness. If he turns out to not be a friendly dog, I got pepper spray. I got pepper spray. When I'm in a 30-mile zone, I pretty much stay to the speed limit or lower than the speed limit. There's going to be pedestrians and children and animals that can run out, and of course there's the police. There's always the police around anywhere. My biggest concern is deer jumping out in front of me. But that's a real danger. Okay, I'm going to continue this motorcycle safety video from inside the vehicle here so that you'll be able to hear my voice. This stretch of freeway here is about 8 miles between downtown Minneapolis and downtown St. Paul, and it's probably the busiest stretch of interstate freeway in the whole 5-state area here. And this stretch of freeway is so crowded that I have never ridden on it with a motorcycle. It's too dangerous for me. It's too dangerous for me to ride this in a motorcycle. But when I'm riding on a motorcycle on any interstate freeway, the biggest thing that I'm worried about more than anything are big trucks like this one. And if not big trucks like this one, they got big tires that can blow out. Those big tires can kick up rocks and nuts and bolts. And so that's why I keep my clearance away from the big trucks like that. Another thing that I'm concerned about is if I ever see like a pickup truck that's hauling, or any kind of trailer that's hauling items that are strapped down, those straps can come loose and those items can come loose. And so now another dangerous thing is, now he's coming into this lane, so I'm gonna give him a, so is if you see bicycles, like I saw some bicycles that were strapped onto the back of a car. There's 3 or 4 bicycles, and that thing came loose right on a freeway, and all of the traffic. But if you were to run over bicycles that fell off, I think it could really flip the motorcycle, or else really injure you, if it, you know. So okay, big trucks and trailers, that's the biggest concern I have out here. And then just distracted drivers, and drivers that are texting or maybe not sober, those kind of drivers. So that's what I'm afraid of out here. Like I usually try to stay in the center of the center lane on a motorcycle, unless it's really crowded. Then I'll get over in the far left lane, and in the far left tire track or the far left lane on a motorcycle. This is, I think, the safest place to be on a crowded freeway. is the left tire track of the far left lane, where you can escape to the shoulder. Just get right out on the shoulder if you have to. And the second best place, the second safest place to be on a freeway is the far right lane, and the far right tire track of the far right lane, where you can get off onto that shoulder. But many times often also, if things are moving along smoothly and the weather is good, and I probably would be possibly in the center lane, but I think the safest place is in the far left tire track of the far left lane. And then just keep up with traffic and take your chances and hope you don't get a speeding ticket. Alright. Got to be very careful of leaves like this in the fall now. When these leaves are wet, they're really extremely slippery. Look for those leaves. I'm going to go down on the freeway here, and I'm going to demonstrate the way to get rid of a tailgater. If there's a tailgater behind you, I do what I call the help, I'm fishing out of control maneuver. I'm fishtailing out of control. It's a maneuver where I go the full width of the lane, side to side like this. The full width of the lane on freeway or wherever, and people will definitely stop following you so close. Coast to neutral, and I like to coast to a stop sign neutral, being careful not to put my foot down these white squares. And up ahead here, these white squares, got to be very careful going, and when I'm turning around these white squares right here, I try to avoid these white squares and go kind of slow. I'll never be turning over them, especially if they're wet. Okay, now I'm going to demonstrate this fishtail maneuver. See what happens in the rearview mirror. I'll do it a couple of times. They're afraid to pass me. They're afraid to pass me now. Okay, I'm coming up on these white painted stripes here. Gotta be careful of these white stripes. Right here, right between these. I'm going to demonstrate now how not to put your foot down. This is how not to ride a motorcycle. Whenever you're riding along at slow speeds, never put your foot down, because the ground can catch your foot so fast that it'll break your leg real quickly. Watch this. You never ride with your feet like that.